Question number 5, Phil Twyford.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is for the Minister responsible for Housing New Zealand Corporation. Does he have confidence in Housing New Zealand's handling of procurement and conflict of interest issues in light of the Auditor-General's report into the contracting of Andrew Body Ltd to advise on the sale of state housing?
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, I am satisfied that Housing New Zealand has accepted the recommendations of the Auditor-General's report and has already taken action to improve their procurement practices. So yes, have confidence in their current practice.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Phil Twyford.
Is it acceptable for Housing New Zealand to fail to follow its own rules and not tender $2.3 million worth of contracts to merchant banker Andrew Body to advise on the State House sell-off? And is the Minister satisfied that the Housing New Zealand's assurances to the Auditor-General will be sufficient to ensure that these practices are not continued?
Mr Speaker, certainly I have, on behalf of the Minister, I've certainly had guarantees from the Housing New Zealand that those practices are not occurring. 6 out of the 10 were over $100,000. Certainly their own guidelines said that they should have gone out. They felt that they had reasons on why they didn't. They've accepted the Auditor-General. They've made changes since, and we accept that.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Phil Twyford.
Is he concerned that the investment fund of one of Andrew Body's clients, the UK company John Lang, is now part of a consortia shortlisted to buy more than 1,200 state houses in Tauranga after the Auditor-General found that Housing New Zealand failed to properly manage Andrew Body's conflicts of interest in respect of his relationship with John Lang?
Mr Speaker, certainly from what I've been informed from Housing New Zealand is that they were very aware of his conflicts of interest and they were raised. What they didn't do well was record them. So I think they certainly did know of them. I am, to the first part of the question, yes, I am confident that they're going to manage it well.
We're not that naive.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Phil Twyford.
We're not that naive.
Is this why the government changed the law to give him extraordinary unfettered powers to sell state houses to anyone he likes on whatever terms he likes, so that he can flog off billions of dollars of state housing to speculators while New Zealanders in need miss out?
Mr Speaker,
Paula Bennett.
No.
Money for your mates.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Phil Twyford.
How can the public have confidence in his stewardship of state housing when he's selling off billions of dollars of state housing to merchant bankers and foreign companies when New Zealanders are living in garages and campgrounds and his government can't even follow basic rules about conflict of interest?
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Because as per usual, the member's making it up and his question has no validity.
Question number